Well, welcome everyone to the Small Business Spotlight. We have Brady and Liz here. They are voice actors in LA, and they're going to share a little bit with us about their industry. And so, Brady and Liz, why don't you go ahead and tell us about how you got into this industry and what interested you in this line of work?
Sure. Yeah, we can speak about being actors because we have been inspired by other actors and by films and television and cartoons and other forms of media, and just knew from a long time ago we wanted to do something in that business. And it just took a while for us to get to the point where we said, okay, no matter what, I'm committed to making this a career, making this my livelihood. And from there, then we moved forward.
I had done acting since I was in sixth grade. Got the acting bug when I was in a Shakespeare play, and then through junior high and high school and even college, just continued to perform and get experience live performing. And then it came to a point where I just was unhappy doing the other jobs that I was doing, and so I knew that I needed to make a change and a shift, and it was uncomfortable and it was scary, and my parents were unhappy that I left my full-time benefit full job, to pursue something that I loved. And ultimately I just wanted to be an actor, but happened to find this niche of voice acting, which is still acting. But voice acting inspired me because there's so many different areas that voice acting is used. So
Yeah. There was a point in my life too, in my career, when I had been working enough jobs and had enough experiences that I said, it really doesn't matter how much money I'm making or how little money I'm making. I just want to be happy doing what I love to do, and that having that kind of fulfilling job can really make the difference. So I just decided that I would rather be poor and happy than making a lot of money and unhappy. Money was never going to compensate for a lack of happiness in my life, but specifically because this kind of work is a creative type of work, that there's not a lot of other jobs that can reward you creatively. There's some things that are close to it, but I think this could be said of many kinds of artists and other artistic kinds of fields. There's something that you just feel like a calling to do, a drive to do, and there's with a wide field out there, there's really few options that ultimately can bring you the most satisfaction. And a lot of people, are able to make successful, happy careers in the entertainment field, but we knew what we wanted to do. We wanted to be actors. Like, you don't just show up outside of a Hollywood studio and get a job working. I mean, there's a whole lot of steps that go in between. There's a whole lot of ways to make it in the business, and nobody's pathway is the same. And we had been living in Utah at the time. We were both working full time, and it came to a point where we said, we know what we want to do, and we had to make a choice of what are we willing to give up to get there. We decided that we were going to give up our jobs, which meant we had to give up our house. We had to give up a comfortable life and be uncomfortable, downsize from a big house and a mortgage to an apartment and less space, less stuff. It was probably the best thing in the world we could have done. So being able to downsize into an apartment and have very little cost of living enabled us to be in a place where we could start a new business. And so for me, it was making a short film that I was able to take to Comic-Con and show at a film festival. I was able to meet a bunch of other voice actors, and it dawned on me that I'm passionate about acting, but I've always had this passion for voice acting that I had not realized. And I thought, oh my gosh, that's so speaking to me. I really want to do that. And I found pretty quickly that it was something that I could begin doing right away because of technology and how the internet has made voiceover work accessible to people no matter where they live, I thought, well, I can start making money right away, start practicing skills, and start working and building a business right now. I didn't have to move to a major metropolitan area and wait tables. I could start with where I'm at and actually use my acting skills. So
Yeah, and you both, excuse me for interrupting, you both went to Westminster with totally, we went to college together with totally different ideals of what you wanted out of life in the beginning, right? I mean, what were your degrees?
Mine was education. So like I said before, in Westminster, I did, I did theater and dance and music, but ultimately I ended up getting a degree as an elementary ed teacher, and I taught for 5 years in Utah, 2.5 years at a Title I school, which was a homeless population school, and I thought I was going to save the world. And then Brady and I moved to Japan, and with the military, he had just graduated through Westminster ROTC, became an officer, so we moved to Japan in Okinawa, and Brady can illuminate on that if he wants to. But then 2 years later, we came back, and then I taught another 2.5 years at a very ritzy, high-end school. And regardless of the schools that I was at, I enjoyed the teaching, but I didn't enjoy. Something inside of me was dying. My soul was dying. I knew that I had something. I knew I had a calling of performing, of telling stories, of acting and creating. And so I slowly moved out of teaching. It wasn't just a jump ship. I had smaller little jobs throughout the transition of teaching English, teaching modern dance up at the University of Utah, tutoring through a tutoring center. Like, there were small little jobs that helped me to get to where I could do voiceover full time. But Brady mentioned that voice acting was something that he could do immediately right now. And so I observed him training. He did all of his research. He just didn't say, I'm going to be a voice actor. It's like, you don't wake up one day and say, I'm going to be a violin player. Like, you have to educate yourself. So Brady did so much research, found an incredible coach. He was living in Utah. He used to be a agent in Los Angeles, a voiceover agent in Los Angeles, who had since moved to Utah and started her own agency in Utah. So Brady started training with her and built up all the skills that he needed to, learned about an online marketplace that we were able to subscribe to. He was able to subscribe to and start getting those opportunities to audition every single day.
yeah, I just wanted to underscore that it takes time to really find what it is that you want to do. I'm sure, as you understand too. So I know I've met a lot of people who felt that there was something more they were supposed to do with their lives or with their career, that they hadn't quite defined what that was yet. And I know that's a process of research and self-exploration and self-reflection that takes time, and it's worth taking the time to do. And it's a step no one should skip. But through that process, you can really come to yourself and really understand, what is it that I want to do? What is important to me? What do I value in life and in my work? So being aware of that was helpful. And then I was able to move forward. And it was very receptive when I discovered voice acting. I thought, yes, this is the answer I've been looking for. And from there, it was just that drive. I was very driven to learn all I could about the business, the industry, not just the performing side of it, but the technology side of it and the business side of it. So through that research, I was able to become acquainted with people who had a lot of experience in the business, who were in a place to mentor me, as Liz said. So we found good coaches who were able to help us develop our performing skills, but also able to kind of mentor us in a business aspect. And it also took time for us to find where work is available, where opportunities were available, and how to optimize those opportunities and start making money. And it was quite a victory being able to book our first paid job. I thought, oh my gosh, I did this little recording video it was just a marketing video for a culinary art school in New York. It was very simple. but I was over the moon excited that somebody wanted to pay me to voice a script. So part of that initial research I did was finding that as much as I wanted to do animated voice acting, that was pretty much reserved for those who lived in the Los Angeles area, and that was down the road for me, not something immediate. But the majority of work is in commercials and in narration and in training videos, and that was all readily available that I can start working in right now. So it took me some time, but I was finally able to start working in it, and then just over time, developing enough clients, I was able to let go of any other jobs and just work on that full time. And about that time, Liz had watched what I had done, and so she was able to put her marketing together really quickly, and she left her job, all of the jobs she had, and she started making more money that first month in voice acting. It was pretty amazing to see how quickly it just took off for her.
But I didn't do voice acting because Brady was doing voice acting. I had to do quite a bit of soul searching myself, and there's a book called The Artist's Way. I don't know. It's by Julia Cameron. And The Artist's Way is a step-by-step 12-week process of a lot of writing, a lot of soul searching, and reacquainting yourself with the artist that's within you. And so that's something that I really, really needed. And doing that whole step process brought me to understanding that I can be an actor and an artist for a living, and that I don't have to be a starving artist, that I can make money doing this. And so after watching Brady train, I decided, you know what, I'm gonna do this too. I'm gonna get myself an awesome voiceover demo that's gonna be my resume, basically. In voiceover, you have a commercial demo that showcases, what your voice sounds like different spots. Then you can have a narration demo, which showcases your voice in different types of companies or different types of industries. And then there's IVR demos, there's car demos, there's animation demos. I mean, there's, the sky's the limit. You can have whatever kind of demo you want, but the commercial is the one that you really want. So I put together a commercial demo. I joined this online marketplace that's for voice actors, connecting clients to voice actors. And within a month of me joining, I started booking work as well. And the satisfaction of knowing that I used my artistry, my creative, being an actor from my home studio and being able to make money just was the most rewarding thing.
But you didn't stop. Awesome. Yeah, you didn't stop there. We had made connections with a talent agent in Salt Lake who also represented actors who did on-camera commercials and industrials. And Liz had already done some of that work before, but she was able to do more work through this agency because they had established relationships in the Salt Lake and Utah market. And so I was able to as well, able to do some on-camera work that way.
Nice.
And start building a resume. So yeah, we have that commercial that we've done different spots for that's still running on TV. It's been 4 years now, but I think my spot's running and yours just wrapped up a month ago.
I don't know if you guys know, but my husband and I actually were in a commercial and we had no experience at all.
No kidding.
Yeah, we were in a Perry Homes commercial.
Okay, yeah.
Probably like 8 years ago, and it ran spots on radio, on the, in the movie theater, really big, big screen in the movie theater. And it was just because his dad worked for Perry Homes and they needed someone that was genuine. So we got to the studio, it was Channel 5 studio here in Utah.
Yeah.
I was like super nervous. I mean, big props to you guys, because I don't think I would ever be able to do something like that again. It's so weird, and to watch like the process that you have to go through, and then when people see it, you get nervous all over again, like every single time. And I feel like and then you're walking around and people see you and hopefully they recognize you, from that. I don't know, but people in our neighborhood were like, hey, you did that commercial. And I was like, yeah, I'm so sorry.
Oh,
that's funny.
I don't know. just different. I guess I don't have that skill that you guys both have, but I thought it was a really interesting process, and I love what you are speaking to. I think a lot of business owners can really relate to, taking that skill. A lot of times small business owners, they quit jobs where they are making a good amount of money because they feel that they are driven in another area to use their skills and abilities. And when they, like you said, take that leap and make that change, it's not over right then. That's when the work begins, and when they have to continue to believe in themselves. So I'm just wondering, for you guys, this is a really interesting parallel for me with small business owners and what you guys are discussing. What's one way that you can inspire or help small business owners to continue to drive that fear away as they are following their dreams?
That's a really good question. And I think that it speaks to the fact that there are always doubts and fears that come up for everybody. No matter what business, no matter what industry, it's a fact of life that we always have doubts and fears. It's just that it comes down to how willing are you to work past those. If you're a creative person and you know that you've got a good head on your shoulders and that you're going to make it no matter what happens, first of all, it takes a willingness to fail, a willingness to say, if I fail, so what? I might fail, and just accept that failure is quite likely. You don't want to fail. Nobody wants to. But everybody knows that failure is part of the process. Failure is the best teacher. We learn the best lessons in life from our mistakes. Hopefully ones that we can avoid. But, standing up to risk, taking calculated risks is important. But I think also you can minimize your risk by being intelligent about the business, about what is going on, learning from what other people have done that has been successful, learning more about yourself, how you can stand out. If you believe in yourself, you believe in your product, you believe in what you're offering, then it's just about moving forward in the best way you can, but strategically working smarter, not harder. But it's an ongoing process. It doesn't just stop. It's great. We've gotten to the point where I don't remember what it was like to work at another job other than it was terrible. But I've been working for myself so long, I could never work for anybody else ever again. I could collaborate with many people joyfully, but not as an employee in someone else's company.
For me, I like Mr. Rogers' advice on 4-letter words. So fear is a 4-letter word.
Yeah.
So is hope. So is love. So is fame. And it all depends on what you do with it. So I like the idea of using fear as a motivator. And I know we all have, no matter what industry we're in, we all have a fear of failure, fear of what our family's going to think, fear of losing stuff that we think are important to ourselves or important to our standard of living, fear of disappointment from a spouse within. And I think it goes back to just what are you willing to give up so that you can be the best person that you can be and be the happiest person you can be. So it all depends on what you do with that 4-letter word.
Yeah. One thing that I see getting in a lot of people's way is the way they manage their money, really, and your finances, and the way you've prioritized your finances can either help or hinder you. Moving into a bigger house could be a great thing, but if it requires you to take on additional jobs or work, how is that going to lead you in the right direction? Would downsizing actually be a better move for you? And then maybe down the road you can upsize once your business has grown. So I think that's a challenge too. Is it the right time?
Yeah. That's a really unique perspective and something that I've often watched people in Europe and other countries. They often live with way less than we do in America, and they're happy with that, and they get to travel. I mean, we, with our families, we don't often take international trips to visit other countries. We kind of stay close and go camping, and we always say we would, but we don't have that kind of money, or, you know, I would make that job, that I would create that product, but I don't have that kind of money. So I really like what you've mentioned, Brady, and Liz, what you've you know, kind of tied in there also about how you know, doing well with less can help your business, can help your family, can help your outcome for the future. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
We want to just kind of wrap up a little bit. Is there anything that you would be able to show us or tell us about what you do?
Yeah. Yeah. So right now, I want to say that, you know, we're constantly, you know, seeking to get um, to different levels of work, better types of opportunities, and it's a progressive type of career path for us both. So um, we obviously knew that part of that process was moving to Los Angeles, where it's a hub of the industry. Um, Working in animation and video games was important to me. Working in national commercials was important to both of us. Working in television was important to us. So moving here took time, it took effort, it took sacrifice. And now that we're here, we've been able to work, you know, become acquainted with individuals in the industry, the business itself, and start making those connections. And we've been able to book some work that we're really proud of. And like I just finished a series on National Geographic that I got to narrate.
Cool.
As the show narrator, did all of the episodes. Very proud of that. So I can show you a clip from one of those episodes.
Awesome.
And then I'm really proud. I know Liz is very proud of a big national commercial that she booked that's still airing right now that we can show you a bit from.
And it's not voiceover; it's on-camera commercial. But I do have several national commercials that have been playing. But the most current one is this on-camera commercial where I don't have a speaking line, but part of diversifying from voiceover is also, you know, doing on-camera work as well. For us, that's where we also want to be a part of. And so through my on-camera commercial work, it's definitely, what am I trying to say? Doing the on-camera work is just opening up other opportunities as well. So you just have to keep diversifying and keep finding ways to get yourself out there and network and connect to others. So
yeah, I feel like to speak to what you're saying, and then I think I need to turn it back to Brady again. Liz, like a lot of times business owners, they start, for instance, social media, and they say, oh, I'm not getting any traction from that. I've done it for like a day or a week or a month or 6 months or a year, and I'm not getting anything from it. And I always tell them, you know, the best thing is consistency. You don't realize that as people hear about you and your company and your business, they're thinking about it. So building that engagement and it having a continuous story going about what you're doing and how you're you know, changing is really important no matter what industry you're in. People are interested. They just need to see that you're continuing to do that work so that when they're ready, they'll know where to go.
And part of that for voiceover, for voice actors, is the day in, day out in the trenches of auditioning, editing from your home studio, and sending that audition off, whether it be to your agent or to an online marketplace, which is where we started off. We no longer use online marketplaces, but we do have multiple agents throughout the United States. And then we now have repeat business that keeps coming back. But that day-to-day work is auditioning and sending, sending. And sometimes it can be, 1 to 2 auditions, or it can be 15 auditions. Those are rare days, but usually, 5 to 8 auditions a day where they're really good quality auditions.
Yeah.
It's just part of the voiceover process. So turn it back to Brady.
Yeah. I'd be happy to share with you this clip I've got pulled up, so I can do my share screen now.
Yeah. Awesome.
So here. Okay. Yes, desktop share screen. So this is from Nat Geo's Twitter page. This veterinary practice in the UK is the highlight of this series on Nat Geo, and the doctor behind it has come up with a lot of really creative ways of doing surgeries and prostheses for domestic animals that had not been done before. So this will give you a sense of what the show is like. We don't necessarily need to watch all 2 minutes of it, but I'll pull it up for you here.
Referrals. It's midnight. It's Patrick Referrals.
Good girl, Mother.
Oh, it's a good girl. Oh, yeah. But while it's lights out in the woods, in the operating room, Noel is focused on Maya's shattered jawbone. When Noel's present a problem complex, this is Maya's, he just cannot throw in the towel. He's got to find a solution. This is our last time. I'm going to try a different stroke. What I'm going to try and do is put these tiny wires into the bone fragment, make a frame, make a scaffolding. So what I've done is put these little
So I could probably skip to
how
probably skip up.
you can see the
Wow.
now we need to do the right
I'm so glad that he does that and I don't have to.
again.
Yeah.
It was close.
So they
It was close
realigned
to
the jaw, and
we might not be able to save the jaw.
they were able to save the cat's jaw.
Should be safe.
Wow, that's amazing.
It looks
Yeah,
pretty.
Breathing's fine, Sarita. Okay, good. Thanks very much. Good night.
Yeah. So that's that clip from that episode.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's great.
Yeah, they were a wonderful group of people to work with, and a wonderful show. And part of the joy of it for me was not to just perform as the narrator, but to learn about all of the people involved and to learn about the individuals who had their animals cases, brought to learn the whole story of that. So it's a journey, and it's a beautiful process of discovery for me to learn about everything that we get to do narrations for. But this one in particular was one of the most rewarding. And Liz, she's going to pull up this commercial that she's done right here.
Nice.
Yeah. So this might look familiar. You might have seen this commercial.
Psoriatic arthritis tries to get in my way? Watch me.
I've tried lots of things for my joint pain. Now, watch me.
See if you can spot where this commercial.
Think I'd give up showing these guys how it's done? Please.
There you are. There you are.
Arthritis are
Yeah.
changing the way they fight.
Nice.
Moving forward with Cosentyx. It's a different kind of targeted
There you
biologic.
are. Again.
Nice.
Help people find less joint pain and clearer skin. Don't use if you are allergic to Cosentyx. Before starting Cosentyx, be checked for tuberculosis, an increased risk of infections and lowered ability to fight them may
How about
occur.
that?
Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms of an infection, or if you have received the vaccine or plan to.
This is my
If you have
favorite part of
inflammatory
the
bowel disease, tell your doctor
pharmaceutical
if symptoms
commercials.
develop or worsen.
Yeah, where it tells you could die.
Watch me.
For less joint pain and clearer skin, ask your rheumatologist about Cosentyx.
Nice.
And what's interesting about that, yeah, it's just me non-speaking. Hold on.
Yeah.
Stop sharing. Okay. Hi. So we started out in voiceover doing non-union work. If I can chat about this briefly. The non-union world is just the majority of what voice acting is. And I would say now that we've been doing this for 7-8 years now, we have now switched on over to doing union work. And union work just brings a whole level of professionalism. With doing union work, you get to qualify for pension and health, and you receive residuals. And so that's the goal. I feel it should be for every voice actor and actor is to be able to do union work.
And be able to afford your health care.
So just that simple commercial, I receive residuals for every time it plays on all the different media, different types of media that it plays on. And because of that commercial, I've been able to, and through voiceover work, of secure health care for Brady and I through the SAG-AFTRA health care plan. So,
Yeah.
That's just, again, just another step of the journey. But that's, so that's that.
That's wonderful. And I'm sure that it takes a lot longer than the 3 minutes that we get to watch it to create something like that. I mean, was this like a whole week process for that commercial, or how long does it take?
Well, like for Brady had.
Talk about yours.
Okay. For my process, I had an audition over in Santa Monica, and then a week later, I had a callback. And so that's me driving time, an hour and a half over there, hour and a half back. And that's twice for the audition and then the callback. And then I booked it. And then I was asked to go to a wardrobe fitting. So that was a good 3.5, 4 hours of my day for a wardrobe fitting, where I got to meet the client, meet the actual patient, Joni here. And then I spent the entire day, not the entire day, but for union regulations, you only get to work an 8-hour day. I was there from, let's say, 9 till we were wrapped 8 hours later, which includes the lunchtime. And so all that combined together, driving time, 15 hours of work maybe.
And then you had to wait about 7 months for it to air.
Because they had to edit it and they had to get clearance and legal and all that stuff. And it still continues to play. So this is a rare commercial because it's a pharmaceutical commercial, which tends to play longer than other commercials. But for voiceover commercials that are car related or retail related, like they're pretty fast because they have a specific holiday or a week or a show. They're trying to.
Yeah, sometimes they run a week, 2 weeks.
So.
But this one will probably run a year and a half.
So all in all, from driving time to auditioning to fittings to the actual day of filming, about 15 hours.
But there's also, you had auditioned 4 other times before you got this audition, and then you booked this one. Mm-hmm. But there was also the commercial classes that she took to really understand what she needed to do in this type of audition. And there was also all the work it took to get her agent to get that opportunity. So it took a couple of years to prep to get to be in a position where you could have these kinds of opportunities. And over time, being consistently diligent to strive for it, it happened.
That's great.
Yeah, we just hope we can do more. We just want to do more.
Yeah. Well, and for those who are interested in voice acting, you guys had mentioned previously that there's a site that they can go to if they're interested in getting into that field. Would you bring that up?
Yeah, definitely. We have people frequently asking about how they can get into voiceover, and specifically, so we recommend that they check out iwanttobeavoiceactor.com. A wonderful man named D. Bradley Baker is a well-known voice actor, very successful, very lovely, has put together a very comprehensive site that guides anybody from the very beginning what to do to get into the business and things they need to be thinking about and preparing for. So that's where we ask everybody to go.
Or there's another resource called VoiceOver Resource Guide. And the VoiceOver Resource Guide is always updated with current information about demo producers, about current coaches or classes, agencies, and then even just information about the union. But that's more centrally located towards the Los Angeles market. Yeah. But a lot of these coaches will do remote Skype sessions or remote sessions, or just even through your phone. They'll do sessions so that you can have an LA coach, but being in your own state.
Compared to on-camera work, like for commercials, where you just need to have a headshot, voiceover requires you to have a lot of training. There's a lot of skills that go into learning how to voice commercials. and narration that are very specific that you need to gain before you can even get to the point of producing a demo. There's a whole sub-industry in the entertainment industry that's focused on training and classes. There are a lot of people who are willing to take your money, make a demo when you're not ready. So they just need to be cautious about that fact. Make sure they get really good training, that they're getting consistently good feedback from their coaches before picking out a demo producer. Because even in Utah and other local markets, there's plenty of people willing to teach like a 4-week class and then produce a demo at the end, and that's not the way to go. So you need to be aware of that.
And then on top of that, the way voiceover, one of the downfalls of voiceover and wonderful things about voiceover is that it is super competitive. And one of the things that makes it really competitive is that people have their own home studios now. So you have to have a home studio in order to really make it in the business. Sure, you could have a unicorn voice, be it you sound like a little boy, or you sound like a little girl, or you have an amazing deep, voice of God. And those, those voices have their special niches. But to really be competitive, you got to have an awesome studio with top market equipment, and then the ability to be able to connect to remotely anywhere in the United States or the world. And then it all falls down to what Brady was saying. You just got to be a good actor. Have to love the acting. Sure, you can love to make money, but you've got to be an actor through and through, because that's what will drive you every single day, is that love of the craft in your work.
Yeah.
So.
I love. Thank you so much for taking the time with us today. I have learned a lot, and I feel like small business owners, regular people can learn a lot from the the stories and the examples that you've set here today. I love the consistency in hard work and maybe streamlining your finances if you want to go ahead and take that, not be afraid to take that big leap. And I feel like those are really good lessons and takeaways that we can all learn from. So I really appreciate the time you've taken today, and wish you good luck on voiceover and acting and your careers, and look forward to seeing you guys on more commercials and films in the future. So thank you
for your
time today.
Absolutely.